Well, look at this. Flow hive made it through winter. Now we got to get in there and take a look. It's a good day. They could kind of be getting ready to swarm. So let's take a look, see what's going on in the flow hive. Smoke the entrance good. Let's take these bricks and put them off. All right, so we should have a winter bee kind on here. I did not feed them anything this spring yet. So they're probably not built up real strong since I didn't feed them like I did a lot of my colonies. Ooh, did they make some comb up in here? It feels... Wow, it's so windy. I am so glad to get my bees moved out of this yard. I can't even keep my hat on, it's that windy. Wow. Boy, is it windy. What's under here? What a surprise this is going to be. This thing has got comb in it. I can tell. Yep, look at that. And when they have extra space like this, they put drone brood. Some of you asked me, what is the larvae that you see in a hive? In this case, that's just extra drones that they put in that space there. That means they're doing pretty good, I guess, to be able to raise some drones and make sure the queen's not in there anywhere, but it'd be rare that she'd be there. Look at that, they did not eat all their candy. I gotta put this down and put a brick on it so the wind doesn't blow it away. Ouch, got stung in the finger and that hurt. I pinched a bee. Whew, that smarted. All right, let's smoke them from the top here. I don't think this colony here, I don't believe they did that well going through winter. Yeah, I did treat them in the fall with the new Viroxan to knock some mites down. Okay, so we'll get some of this candy out of the way and start lifting up the frame next to the wall here. There, the bees are working hard today, and it's so windy. I am surprised that my bees can actually go out there in this kind of wind and navigate this wind. It's crazy. All right. Coming up kind of hard against the wall. Okay. Oh, this has small hive beetles in it. All right, got one small hive beetle. There's another one, got two. Got three. Let's just pinch them. 4, 5, 6, 7. You kind of get that when you get up against the wall like that. We have a lot more inspection to come up in this hive, but I want to pop in here real quick and say, please subscribe. I appreciate you being a subscriber. About half of you that view my channel subscribe. So it'd be a big help if you would take a moment, just subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, click on the bell. Now let's get back into this hive. Oh yeah, got them. That's 9. 9 beetles already, dang. Yeah, it's another reason I don't like this yard either. And that's why I'm moving all my hives to the back of my property, behind my buildings. I've had them back there before, and I loved it because the wind is blocked by the buildings and a big berm back there. So, but I didn't get this one moved just yet, and I'm going to have to. Ooh, I'm going to put this back on the back of the hive, so when the wind blows, it blows it against the hive. This might be the first hive that I tested last fall with the Viroxan strips in there. And I don't remember if I did a follow-up video. But when I removed them, I was very surprised. I wouldn't say disappointed, maybe a little disappointed, how much the Viroxan strips caused a divot in each frame where the strips hung. I'll show you that in just a minute. And it continues to be there. All right, let me show you what I mean. And it's not a criticism of the strips, I guess, but I can't even keep my hat on. It's so windy. It's crazy. All right, let's look at this frame here. The second frame. Now, this is a little bit of a divot. Do you see that? It kind of goes down where the strip was. But on the next one, oh, yeah, that's just a frame of pollen and a couple of beetles I can kill. All right. Of course, there'd be beetles and pollen. Oh, I got two beetles down. It's just way too shady. That's why I moved. That's why we're getting out of Dodge. We're getting all the hives out of this area. And I was getting ready to film today down here. I've already got a lot of my, can't get that beetle killed. I already got a lot of my hives moved. But the problem is, I forgot several things. I've already made, I think, 3 trips back to the shop to get stuff. In the truck. I don't like that. All right, so let's smoke. I'll show you this divot thing. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. I'm not the only one this has happened to, by the way. I have spoken with another beekeeper, and he said, yep, same thing with me. So you can see here, you see that, how it's just sunken in there? You can kind of see where the strip was resting, and it's just weird, isn't it? See it on that side too. Look at all that pollen they've brought in. And yeah. All right. Now, if you've, and I can't keep my hat on. All right, I'm going to show you this next frame because this is exciting. Get ready to get excited. All right. Other than the Roxanne divot, you're going to be seeing, oh, I can't even pull it up. You're going to be seeing a frame that you're going to be so happy about. Watch this. Talk about your solid brood pattern. Wow. You know, other than the space where the strip was. That's unfortunate, but anyway. And some drone brood, obviously. That time of the year for drone brood. Let me welcome you to my live stream every Thursday night, 7 p.m. I hope you'll join me. I'll leave a link right here. Giveaways, I teach on beekeeping, great camaraderie. 600 to 800 beekeepers gather every Thursday night. Hope you'll join me. Hope to see you then. Look at those drones. Yep. This hive did a lot better than I thought they did. I thought they were kind of small. I started feeding them winter bee kinds late in the year out of here. I mean, it is so windy right now. I know you can't see it. But it's so windy, you can imagine in the wintertime how badly these hives just get tortured with the wind. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we have solid brood pattern, so we know we have a good laying queen in there. But the way that you get this excess comb off is just to scrape it off. And the traditional hive tool with the little L shape to it works a lot better than the J-hook, but you can make a J-hook happen. Sometimes when you're doing this, a J-hook will dig in a little bit more. I'm putting all of this, I'm saving it, I'm not throwing it on the ground, I'm putting it in the lid of the winter bee kind with the funny brood and the extra candy. Ooh, can't even hardly smoke it, it's so windy. It is. If I'm talking about the wind way too much, it's just because it has been the windiest spring. My bees have not been able to fly hardly much as they should because it's been so windy. And bees don't fly when it gets over, I don't know, 20 miles an hour. It's harder for them to fly. I shouldn't say they don't fly, but I like to pull a frame up like this for those of you that are brand new to beekeeping or experienced and never heard this before. But I'm going to wait a minute before I take it away from the box, because if a bee falls off, I want the bee to fall off into the hive. I don't want a queen especially to fall off and be in the grass somewhere. Now this is the frame that has, let me show you this. This frame has, I don't know if I can get that in focus, has the weird larvae from the drone larvae, and that's likely to fall off while we handle it. But let's go ahead and just lean it up like this so you can get an idea of what we're looking at. I'm going to look for eggs. So what I'm going to do is step out of the shade, get the sun behind me where I can look in these cells to look for eggs or larvae. I'm in too much shade now to see. And looking in the sun, I saw lots of eggs. Lots of eggs, 1-day-old eggs. So the queen is likely around this frame, close, up or down, around it somewhere. Do we have queen cells? That's really why we're here. We have drone. That's a drone cell here. These could be queens, but they're cups, nothing in them. These right here are drone cells, drones, because they are horizontal, not vertical. So we don't see any queen cells hanging around. Now let's look again for the queen, see if we see her. Wow, that's a young bee there, a very young bee. That's a very dark bee that I thought was the queen because she was so different colored. All right, to the other side of the frame. All right. And, you know, when I'm filming like this, I can't hold the frame the way I want to hold it, like next to my face. I have to hold it next to your face or the camera and then try to see it from an angle. So this is not the traditional way that I would look for a queen. Ooh, it's tough. We're going to have to raise the camera too. Okay, so I'm guessing, what is there, brood underneath here? Yeah. All right, so look how tight they are though. And that makes it harder to find the queen. It's a little bit cooler today. It's barely warm enough to do an inspection, to be honest with you. So it's hard to see a queen because the bees are protecting that pupae. Capped over pupae has to be kept in the 90s, and they're making body heat doing it. And that's why if the queen is among them, she could blend in and be hard to see. So let's get these back in the hive here. It's really warm down in the hive, by the way. So let's just go ahead and start using the Winter Bee Kind here so that I can scrape all this off and put it on the Winter Bee Kind. I need to smoke the bees down. They're up here on it. So let's see if we can smoke them off of it. All right, that's not bad. Wow. Get some candy here. All right, cleaned it up pretty good, didn't we? Purpose of this inspection is to see how the hive overwintered. First inspection after winter, and we also want to see if we got any queen cells. My other hives have not shown queen cells yet, so you know that it doesn't always mean all of your hives will do the same exact thing. Some will and some won't. I can't get any smoke to go onto the hive because of the wind. All right, here we go. All righty, we got, trying for the bees not to get blown away, but you know, we've got good brood there. I don't want to keep it out too long. I don't want to chill it. Capped over pupae can get too cold and be killed. We call that chilled brood, so we don't want to chill it. All right, looks good. Let's look at the next one. Didn't see any queen cells on the bottoms. That's good too. Notice my use of smoke. I saw somebody left a comment that you appreciated learning, you know, how much smoke and the amount of smoke that I use when I'm working my bees. You can kind of watch what I do and maybe say, well, he has pretty good success handling his frames and all the way he does it, so I gotta try that too. Look at that. A lot of young larvae. I'm looking for healthy larvae. I don't want to see, oh, it's windy, it's about to blow it out of my hand. All right, big gust. Pearly white larvae. So that means no European foul brood. It looks good. Poor bees getting blasted in the wind, trying to hang on to that frame. Whew. Wow. You kind of see some of the bees go flying, can't you? Yeah, look at that nice larvae. See if I can get the camera to pick that up. I don't know. I'm just trying not to blow away. Now, all right. Maybe I should stand on this side of the camera. I think that makes more sense. All right, let's pull this. Ooh, a lot of heat coming up out of that hive. You know, I'm on probably 65 degrees right now and 90 plus degrees Fahrenheit coming up out of the hive. You can tell it. Wow, look at that frame of pollen. Look for the queen. You probably have a better way to look for her than I do. I'm looking through a veil on a windy day. All right. Switching her over here. Good frame for the queen to be laying on. We've got empty cells that she can lay in, see. All right, I should be saying some things to help you guys out. This is all honey up here at the top, capped over honey. After a while, you just get a pretty good idea what it looks like as a beekeeper. It has more of a waxy, wet looking. See that honey there? Watch the bees start eating it. Brood looks differently. It's more velvety, papery looking, capped over brood. Some of the stuff here you might be seeing at the bottom. This is just what we call burr comb, connective comb. There was some spacing that the bees just chose to build some comb in. So could be cleaned off. I'm not going to do it today because I'm filming and I want to show you guys other things. Okay, we're running out of the brood area, which is more in the center. So over here, we're probably just going to see more frames of honey like we just saw. Oh, that's heavy. Yep. So that's more capped over honey that I poked in the last frame. Rarely do you see the queen over here unless you do have some open cells, but I don't see any at all. But she wanders at times. But yeah, you're not going to find the queen on a frame like that. So I'm done looking. I don't need to look at the last one over there either. Frame of honey. So they had good honey stores. Remember, I fed them in the fall, but I did not feed them anything this spring. So that's all honey that they had left over from winter. So they overwintered well. And this is, I'm really kind of surprised. This hive is a lot stronger than I thought it was. All winter long, I thought, oh, they're barely hanging on. They kept eating winter bee kinds. I don't know how many. I gave them 3 or 4 of my winter bee kind boards. And that last one, they didn't finish it because they kind of were telling me, hey, we got plenty of honey, David. Calm down. We got plenty of stored honey, David, but we'll eat your free stuff. You're going to give it to us. All right, let's put these frames back. You want to go down in the deep down below? You know, I'm going to, so hang on. I wished that the day was better. Not windy. If it wasn't windy, it'd be a lot easier to handle this hive, but we're going to do it anyway, okay? I feel like I'm missing 2 frames. There they are on the back of the hive. Yep. Handling frames like this, you got to make sure you don't, get bees underneath where you're putting the pressure of your fingers, because when you have frames outside the hive, the bees will crawl around in weird places. So when you pick it up, make sure that bees are not underneath here. Like sweep that out with your finger. I've been stung, and still do today, get stung so many times by actually putting my finger under this part right here, and there's a bee sitting underneath right there. You see that little spot right there? Yeah. All right, let's get some room to land this frame. A little tight with that honey sticking out. Okay, we'll do it. Oh yeah, lots of room. All right, so let's get ready to go take the top deep off. We'll explore. Now, I'm going to warn you, it's going to be gross because there is, for some reason, I don't know if it's the way I'm using this Langstroth deep hive, and then I've got the traditional Langstroth box here. Then down below, I've got the flow hive that came with it. The measurements must be off. In order to get the box off, it's going to be heavy. It has a lot of honey up here, and so we got to break the cold propolis. And to do that, the best way to do it is just come underneath this right here with your hive tool and start lifting. There we go. Once you work your hive tool in, you don't want to lift without having your smoker in your hand, because what you want to do is pull up on the hive tool and then you want to smoke. That will give you the distance that you need to actually blow smoke in there. Watch. See? And know which way the wind's blowing, so you know how to make sure that the wind will carry that smoke into the hive. All right. So we're pretty free. Get ready to see some drone larvae. Oh, that's so heavy. Golly. Wow. All right. I gotta walk it all the way over here to my top cover. There, here we go. Wow, that's a workout. All right, so you can see a lot of drone larvae, and I like looking at it because I can inspect for mites. And I don't see any mites at all on the pupae of drones, which is really where you'd find it. They are in this is just a small amount of drones that they laid between the frames. Again, the gapping is wrong on the top of this box here where the frames go down too far, and it just makes a big gap. So they actually take advantage of that. Whew. I'm going to get the bees off of it so I can clean it up. Try to do a little scraping here. It can get really messy, and I'm not going to throw this in the yard. I'm going to put that in my storage container over there, my winter bee kind board, so I can safely remove and get this away from the bee yard. All right. So the only way for this not to happen is to make sure when you match your boxes that you don't, I think some of the flow hive boxes are more proprietary maybe in how they're made than the traditional Langstroths are. That's what it looks like to me. Because when I added traditional Langstroth on top of a flow hive box, that's when I got this weird, I got bees, oh, move. I got this weird gap. There we go. That looks pretty good right there. All right, get down there and start examining what we got. I don't think there's a lot of brood in this bottom box. Traditionally, when you come out of winter, not much is going on down in the bottom brood box, but will they prove us wrong? Leave a comment right now. Let me know what you think is going to be going on in the bottom deep. Let's see if we can get these frames separated without breaking them, because it's a cooler day today. So there's sometimes some cold propolis will stick harder than warm propolis in the summertime. Oh, come on out of there. Oop, bees are getting blown off by the high winds. All right. Nice empty frame where the queen could lay. Where'd that small hive beetle go? Where'd she go? Where did he go? Hope it's a he. Lost her. Yeah, well. Yeah. All right, so that's just a nice frame right here. Do you see how that can be such a good frame for the queen to lay in? Let's put that back here in the back in case the wind gets it. Another reason I'm glad to get out of this yard is because of the dappled shade. Makes it real hard to film. I know you're seeing a lot of, shady spots, sunny spots. And the bees are starting to work this frame, though they didn't work it last year. Now they look like they're adding some wax to it. Yeah, look at that. That's drawn out new this year. That's pretty impressive. No eggs. Nope. So you can kind of look down in the cells and you can see that there are no eggs. So the queen's not laying down here in that frame. But we'll scoot across and keep looking. Maybe we'll find some brood down here. Maybe we'll see the queen. We're looking for queen cells too. All right, good pollen. Look at the pollen there. And you see some nectar glistening as well. Yep, good food source. This hive is well fed. Yep, well fed. I like this hive. I may graft this queen because they did so well. All right, yep, bunch of bees making comb, blobbed up together there, but I don't see any queen. Get a little closer. I see some drone brood up here. I should have smoked them between that frame and this one. Let's do that. Go ahead and smoke them now. If I'm getting any smoke in there, it is so windy. All right, here we go. Hang on, bees, don't blow away. I just want to look. Woo! Rock solid frame of pollen. Man, that is a pollen packed frame right there. Look at that. It's a sight for sore eyes if you're looking for protein from pollen. Yeah. No queen cells. They've got some spots here for her to lay, but I don't see any eggs. She could be on this frame, getting ready to lay. I just realized I bend over a lot since I'm 6'2" and I'm in the bottom deep. I'm really hunched over. I should have brought a chair. Look again for the queen because this is her type of frame to be on, but I don't see her. Oh, I gotta stretch my back up. All right, let's keep scooting across the middle here. See what we got. A lot of brood, man, there's a lot of food in the bottom. That's unusual. Okay, good. Now we got some brood. I was going to say, shouldn't we have brood down here? And I see cat brood. Now, scoot some things out of the way here. We already saw a good brood pattern up above, so we're not too concerned about anything here. But we are going to look for the queen in case she's down here laying eggs. Not seeing her instantly on this frame without giving it a hard look. My larvae is pearly white, so that's good. Ooh, excuse me, bees. Oh yeah, good brood pattern. Look at this, worker brood pattern. A newly emerged drone and drone brood over here. And probably taking care of larvae or eggs down in here. So my queen could be anywhere in this pile of bees. And the reason I don't care if I see the queen is because I already see eggs, so I know she's a good laying queen and good brood pattern. I'm not going to take the time to spot the queen, and you shouldn't either, unless you need to find her to replace her. Otherwise, just look at her work that she's doing, and you don't have to find her. If she's laying good eggs, you see good capped over brood, not spotty, good brood pattern, quit looking for your queen, close her up. Ooh, that's warm right there. It's got capped over pupae below this frame. All that heat coming up. Yep, there's a pupae. 92 degrees, don't want to hold it out too long. I don't want to kill it. They're like, David, you're making us mad. No, they're not mad, but they're like, wow, we have to work hard to heat that pupae up. Oh yeah, good eggs right there. Whew, my queen is in the house. My nose is running. Wow, that's another good frame of capped over brood. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm looking for the queen cells. So this hive is not in the swarming game yet. There's no swarm cells on the bottom down here, nothing like that. Everything is fine. Yep. Got little beetles at the top. We may have to put some traps in this one. But I gotta move it to the back of the property, and it's going to be tough. I don't want to lose the foragers. Ooh, that's a lot going on right there, people. My back is tired. All right, let's take a glance for a queen. A lot of good brood in the bottom. A lot of good larvae, not discolored, it's pearly white, so we don't have any European foul brood going on. And we've had a wet spring. I'll show you what I'm looking at over here. See if I can get it in both cameras. You can probably see the larvae. All right, let's look at one more frame. This is my last frame to look at, and we're going to put the hive back together because they are doing really good. I'm inspecting very slow so I can film and point out things for you. Normally, I would have been done a long time ago, but I'm just taking time to kind of point things out to you because I know these videos got to be helpful for those of you that have just not done a lot of inspections. Yeah. A lot of bees with pollen on their back legs on this frame, so they're coming in. And I think it might be 4 or 5 right now, so they're still working kind of late in the day, really. Yeah, that's good. That's my last frame to look at. I am done looking at this hive. Now, I took a frame out, and it was a frame like this. Let me show you. So it was a frame of just nothing. Well, something that the queen could lay on. And I want to take a moment and show you guys. I took this frame out first because it was against the wall, and it's a nicely drawn out frame with nothing on it. It goes right there. To put it back there, I got to move all the frames. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take this frame and put it more closely to where the edge of the brood area is. Not really right between the brood, but pretty close into the brood area right there. And I got space to do it without rolling bees, or killing a queen, but we're going to make as much space as we can. Push with your hive tool to make the gap as big as possible both ways. Yep. All right, that moved a little bit. That moved a lot. All right, here we go. Set her right down in here because it is a frame of drawn out cells that she could lay in. And I'm putting it pretty close right in the brood area. Now we have to torture our back, pick up the big, heavy, top deep box, and put it on top of the hive. Okay, here we go. Yeah, coming in for a landing. I'm going to twist it on there to get bees out of the way. They're kind of standing on the edges there a little bit. There we go. Ooh, whole thing shifted on the floor. There we go. That looks good. I'm going to put a regular honey super on. Not going to put the Flow Hive super on because the last 2 years I just haven't been happy with how that's turned out. So I'm going to put a regular super on for now and a top cover and call it good. Well, I'm kind of proud of the old Flow Hive here, how well they overwintered. They might be my best looking hive I've looked at so far in the amount of food and brood they have on board, especially without being fed anything in the fall or spring. I did pound them with winter bee kinds all winter long. I think they had 3 or 4 on there, maybe 5. So that helped them build up a lot of brood. As you can see behind me, I still have a good number of hives that I've got to move over behind the building, way back on the property. That's where they're going to be when you guys come and pick up your packaged bees, because I don't like the small hive beetle soil in the shade here. I don't like the heavy winds hitting me when I work hives. There's been a few times last summer, Pat and I, when we were filming, the bees were being blown off the frame. So we've got to take them back, get more shelter. I got a lot of work to do. I've already moved about half of them, but I got about maybe 10 more to go. So we'll see how we can do in a pinch to get those bees moved while they're already accustomed to foraging. I wanted to do it in the wintertime, but you know how that goes. Things happen and you don't always do what you want to do. Hey, I really appreciate you guys watching my video. Thank you so much. Hope you've learned some things today. And I want you to be sure and look at this next video. I think it's going to help you a lot. Another early spring inspection. If you haven't seen it yet, take a look at that video right here. I'll see you guys over there.